Alright, we are going to finish fractions at long last. It's our 10th and final video. It's been a long haul, but we've made it. We're going to do order of operations with fractions. So, do you know what we're talking about when we talk about order of operations? It's just the correct, what is this? The correct order to evaluate, not sure what's going on here, but evaluate, let's spell it correctly, an expression in math, right? There's a right order to do it, just like many things in life. When you get ready in the morning, you don't get dressed and then have your shower. That's a bad decision, people. You want to have the shower first before you get changed. Okay, I won't go through the reasons why. So here's the correct order for doing math. BEDMAS, it's a made-up word. It's not a real word, but it covers the correct order to do math. Brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So this is the first thing you should be looking for, brackets, and you'll work your way down. Now, a few things. So far, we haven't talked about exponents, so you won't have to worry about exponents in today's work. Exponents are things like 4 squared, 5 cubed, 9 to the 8th power. These are all exponents, and we'll talk about them probably next chapter. So don't worry about those. The other thing I need to tell you is, when I write this word BEDMAS, I always put kind of like a brace there and a brace there. You know why? It's because division and multiplication are kind of equal to each other in BEDMAS. And if you have division and multiplication in the same question, you do whatever comes first, whatever's further to the left. And same with addition and subtraction. So if you had a question like 5 times 10 divided by 2, I know division is written before multiplication here, but these two things are equal to each other. So you just go from left to right. Do multiplication first, then division. Similarly here, if you had 10 take away 2 plus 7, I know addition is written before subtraction, but these two are equal to each other, so we'd go from left to right. Subtraction first, and then addition. Alright, let's get right into it. So, I've made these hard, these questions. I've made every one of them mixed fractions. Kind of nasty that I did that, but what the heck, if you can do these, you can do any of them. So for the first two, you have the same question, don't you? The only thing different is there's no brackets right here in this one. So let's see if it makes a difference. You know it makes a difference, otherwise I wouldn't put them both on here. So what's the first thing we do in BEDMAS? We look for brackets, and we do have brackets. We have brackets right here. So this is what we got to do first. We got to add 2.5 plus 3 1/3. So I'm not going to do both ways. I'll do the way that probably most of you will do this, where you'll switch it into an improper fraction. So let's switch both of these to improper. Remember, you don't have to. The method I like is adding the big numbers, the whole numbers, and adding the fractions separately. But I know most of you like doing improper. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 over 2. And 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10 over 3. And we've got to add, so we need a common denominator. Let's count by 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. Does 2 go into 3? No. Does 2 go into 6? Yes. There's our common denominator. So we're going to change it to something over 6 plus something over 6. What do you have to multiply 2 by to get 6? Got to multiply by 3. Do the same at the top. What do you have to multiply 3 by to get 6? 2. Do the same at the top. So what are your new denominators? 5 times 3 is 15. And 10 times 2 is 20. Now we can add these together. Keep the denominator the same and add the numerators. 15 and 20 is 35, and you're done. Now, don't switch this into mixed. Don't do it. You know why? Because you're going to be multiplying next, and you have to change them into improper. So what's the point of putting into mixed and then putting it back in improper, right? You should make sure it's in lowest terms. Is it? Let's see. What goes into 35? 7 and 5, but those don't go into 6. I guess this is in lowest terms. Okay, awesome. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our 35 over 6, which is the part we got in brackets. If you want, you could even have put all this in brackets just to show you that this is that highlighted part in brackets. And we're going to multiply it by 1 4/5. You don't have to show me all these steps, and this is probably a bit much. But so we have to remember when you multiply, it must be improper. This one's already improper. This one improper. 1 times 5 is 5, plus 4 is 9, so we get 9 over 5. Should I get my common denominators now? 6, 12. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't get common denominators. You don't need them when you multiply. Okay, so we're ready to go. And what can you actually do when you multiply? You can ninja slice. We love it. Ninja slicing's the best. So I see some nice slicing you can do. 6 and 9, you can divide them both by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And 35 and 5, you can divide them both by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 35 divided by 5 is 7. Now you can multiply. Multiply across the top, you get 21. Multiply across the bottom, you get 2. That's fine. That's a great answer. Or make it mixed. 2 goes into 21 10 times with 1 left over. Denominator stays the same. We made it. We got our answer. Alright, let's see what difference it makes if you don't have this in brackets. Should I start by adding then? No, because BEDMAS tells us if there's no brackets, look for exponents, which we're not doing, then look for division and multiplication. And there is my multiplication right there. You need to do this first before you add on the 2.5. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the highlighted part first. So we're multiplying. We need to get improper fractions. You can't multiply mixed. So 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10 over 3 times 1 times 5 is 5 plus 4 is 9 over 5. Multiplying, don't need common denominators, but we can ninja slice. Just the 10 and 5, they can divide by 5. You get 1 and 2 when you divide by 5. And now you can get this answer. 2 times 9 is 18, and 3 times 1 is 3. Wait a minute. 18 and 3? I can divide both of those by 3. I'm going to get quite a nice answer here. Check this out. If I divide them both by 3, 18 by 3 is 6, and 3 by 3 is 1. Well, 6 over 1 is just the same as 6. Awesome. We've done the highlighted part, and it's 6. So now what I have to do is do 2.5 plus 6. All right, everyone. Let's think here. Let's not switch this to improper, please. If it's 2.5 and we're adding 6, let's just add those whole numbers together and end up with 8.5. We're done. Please don't give yourself too much work and switch this into 5 over 2 and this 6 over 1 and get common denominators and change the numerator. Oh my gosh, what a waste of time. This is a much faster way to do it. So this time again, I have the same question, but with brackets. So what would I do first in the first one here? I have subtraction and I have division. What comes first in BEDMAS? Division. You have to do this first. So we're dividing. How do we divide? We must switch it into improper. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11 over 3, divided by 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11 over 4. How do I divide? We don't. We hate dividing. What we do instead is multiply by the reciprocal. Remember how to do it? Keep the first fraction the same, change your division into a multiplication, and flip the second one. Get the reciprocal, which is 4 over 11. Now we can multiply. Do we need common denominators? No, not when we multiply, not when we divide. But what we can do is ninja slice. Look at those 11s just cancel out. Divide them both by 11, you get 1. And so now we can get our answer. 1 times 4 is 4. 3 times 1 is 3. Okay? Great. So we have the whole highlighted part. Now don't do this. Don't do this. People do this all the time. Okay, I got 4/3 and now I need to subtract 5 2/5. Do you see what's wrong about that? It's the wrong order. Order matters when you subtract. Order matters when you divide. It actually doesn't matter when you add and multiply, but it does matter when you subtract. So what you should actually be doing is 5 2/5 minus 4/3, right? The same order it says up there. Okay, it's up to you, but since this one is improper, I'll switch this one to improper too. I'll do it the way you like, probably. So 5 times 5 is 25, plus 2 is 27 over 5, and then we're subtracting 4 over 3. Do we need a common denominator when we subtract? You sure do. So let's count by the big one. 5, 10, 15, 20. Does 3 go into 5? No. Does 3 go into 10? No. Does 3 go into 15? Yes, that is our lowest common denominator. So we've got to switch them both to 15. What do we multiply 5 by to get 15? 3. Do the same to the top. Ooh, pretty big here. What's 3 multiplied by to get 15? 5. So let's do that. 27 times 3. Break out the calculators, everyone. It's 81. 4 times 5 is 20. So let's subtract. Base stays the same. Sorry, the denominator stays the same. Sorry. And 81 minus 20 is 61. There you go. That's fine. Not sure if it's in lowest terms. It might be easier to tell if you put it in mixed form. 15 goes into 61 4 times. That gets us up to 60. You still have 1 left over. Oh yeah, 1/15 is definitely in lowest terms. We're good. Okay, let's do the same question, but this time we got some brackets. So obviously, you've got to do the brackets first. Hey, do you mind if just for this one I do it my method? Thank you, I appreciate it. So I'm going to go straight to getting lowest common denominators of 5 and 3. Well, we did that over here. It's 15. So I'm going to have 5 and something over 15 minus 3 and something over 15. What do I have to multiply 5 by to get 15? 3. Do the same here. What do I multiply 3 by? 5. Do the same here. So I end up with 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times 5 is 10. No, I shouldn't have done this one. It's going to scare you all off, this method. You know why? Because you can't do 6/15 minus 10/15, you need to borrow. So remember how to borrow? Take from the 5, so it becomes a 4, and then we add 15 and 6, and our new numerator is 21. 15 plus 6 is 21. Now you can get this answer really quickly. Subtract the big numbers, 4 minus 3, you get 1. And 21/15 minus 10/15, well, keep the denominator the same. 21 minus 10 is 11. Great. So what do we have to do now? We have to take that answer, which was highlighted, and divide by 2 3/4. And you know what? I probably should have done it your way, because what do we have to do when we divide? We have to switch it into improper. So maybe I should have just started by doing that. Oh well. 1 times 15 is 15, plus 11 is 26 over 15. Divided by 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11 over 4. We don't divide. We hate division. Instead, we're going to multiply. How do we do that? Keep the first one the same and flip the second one. Get the reciprocal. So 4 over 11. Do we need a common denominator? No, we don't. And we can ninja slice, except there's nothing to ninja slice. Oh my gosh, look at these numbers. Horrible. On the top, 26 times 4. Well, that is 26 times 2 is 52, and then 52 times 2 is 104. If you multiply by 2 and 2 again, that's the same as multiplying by 4. 15 times 11, 165. Multiply by 10 to get 150, and then 1 more 15 gets you up to 165. Or just use a calculator. That's fine too. Okay, 2 to go. Sorry about the length of this video. So what do we got here? We got some brackets, so we better do that first. We better do this bracket, and we also better do this bracket. There's nothing in between them. What's that mean? If there's nothing in between, it means it is multiplication. If you want to put a dot there or a times sign, that'll be the last thing we do, because it's not in brackets. So let's do this bracket first. I'm going to switch everything improper, because you're going to have to anyway when you multiply. So 3 times 10 is 30, plus 3 is 33 over 10, minus 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12 over 5. So this is the first bracket. And what we need to do is get common denominators, because we're subtracting. So if we count by 10, 10, 20, 30, does 5 go into 10? It does. So that's our lowest common denominator. So why don't we keep the first one, 33 over 10, but now our second denominator we have to multiply by 2 and multiply by 2. So your second denominator is 24. Now we can subtract. 10 stays the same on the bottom, and 33 take away 24 is 9/10. So we have 9/10 in the first fraction times, now let's do the second one. I'll do this in a different color. You could do it down below or something. I'm just going to move it like right here. So let's switch it to improper. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 2 is 22 over 5, minus 4 times 10 is 40, plus 1 is 41 over 10. And we're looking for the lowest common denominator of 5 and 10. We just did that. It was 10. So this time we will find a new fraction here, but we'll keep the 41 over 10. So what did you have to multiply the 5 by to get 10? You multiply by 2. Do the same here. 22 times 2 is 44. So if you subtract 44/10 minus 41/10, denominator stays the same. 44 minus 41 is 3/10. Okay, last thing, we're going to multiply. Do you need common denominators? No, but you have them. It doesn't matter. You can do it if you have common denominators. So we look to see if we can ninja slice. Oh, look at this. 10 and 10 cancels, and 3 and 9 cancels. No. Remember, one has to be in the numerator, one has to be in the denominator. There's no canceling you can do here. So we're ready to go. 9 times 3 is 27. 10 times 10 is 100. And we are finished. Nice job. Okay, this one's similar in that you have a bracket here, and you have a bracket here. The last thing you'll be doing is the division. So let's get this answer first. Now, again, I'm going to do this one my way. It says 7 minus 3/5. So what do you have here? You have no fraction. But you could borrow still, right? Let's borrow from the 7 and make it a 6. Now since we're talking about fifths, how many fifths is the whole that we borrowed? What makes a whole? How many fifths? 5/5 makes a whole. 6 and 5/5 make 7, right? 5/5 is 1, 6 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. I hope that makes sense. If it does, you can get this answer very, very quickly because you're going to subtract the fractions. 5/5 minus 3/5 is 2/5, and you're going to subtract the whole numbers. 6 minus, what's the whole number here? Well, if you don't see it, it's 0. There is no whole number. 6 minus 0 is 6. So there's your first answer, 6 and 2/5. That's a 5. That's a terrible 5. But there you go. Okay, now let's do, so this is the first bracket, divided by, oh, let's do this one my way too. What could be easier than adding 3 plus 3.5? 3 plus 3.5 is 6.5. Oh, I hope you're okay with doing that because that sure saved us a lot of time. Now we just have one division statement to go. So how do you divide? Well, first of all, you have to change it to improper. So 6 times 5 is 30, plus 2 is 32/5, divided by 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13/2. Division. Do we need common denominators? No, don't do it. Do we want to even divide? No, we don't want to do that either. We want to multiply. How do we do that? Keep the first one the same and flip the second one. Okay, now if possible, we ninja slice. But I don't think we can do it. We got a 5, 13, nope, you can't. So we're ready to multiply. On the top, 32 times 2 is 64. And on the bottom, 5 times 13 is 65. And that is it. Okay, some pretty tough stuff here, people. But if you can do these, you have become fraction masters. Take care and let me know if we need any help, because I would love to help you. See ya. Bye.